Barakati Yahweh, Barakati Yahweh Shai, Barakati Yahweh, Barakati Yahweh Shai, Call Halal Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai Ba'Hashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect that's watching and learning. To you I say shalom. I also want to give a shalom to the Akim that go on the highways and byways, doing this work in all truth and sincerity, making themselves a living sacrifice unto our power, Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai. To you brothers I say shalom. I also want to give a shalom to the newly awakened. Those to the Most High is blessed with the ears to hear and the eyes to see. May He increase you with wisdom, knowledge, and understanding according to your lot. I'm the brother Nakamaya coming at you with another lesson. And I think I'm going to title this lesson, China is Preparing for War. All right. And as you're going to see in this video, man, it's just pretty much coming out and saying preparing for it. Now, they're already giving, like, not only China, but Russia and all these other nations pretty much giving hints of war. But, the president of China just pretty much just came straight out and, told his army to get ready, right? Which is all pursuing the Bible prophecy, right? One of the major end-time prophecies is going to be World War III, right? And what we're seeing is, with these other nations, practicing, sharing arms, doing drills together. It's pretty much, the prelude to World War III. All right, so I got the video right here. Got a couple of precepts lined up, and hopefully be edifying the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai.
Live from the world headquarters of RT America in our nation's capital. This is the news with Rick Sanchez.
Hi, everybody. I'm Rick Sanchez, and I want to welcome our viewers from around the world, including those of you who are watching us on the portable TV app using your telephones. Today, the president of China seems to be telling his troops to prepare for war. Xi Jinping visited a military base in Guangdong, a province in the southern part of China. And there he said the following in a speech to his troops, quote, "Put all your minds and energy on preparing for war." Those are his words. Meanwhile, the U.S. State Department and the U.S. Pentagon have been outwardly targeting China by supporting and shipping arms into Taiwan, which China regards as one of its provinces.
Right, so there you have it. China openly and blatantly said prepare for war, right? And one of the reasons why they're saying that is because China and Taiwan are on the brink of war. Right, China considers Taiwan, a part of its land, right? But what you have is the devil, Esau, right, being subtle as he has been since the beginning of the time, right? Being a little sneaky instigator like he's always been, right? And what he's doing is, meddling in others' affairs. Right, like he always does, right, encouraging violence or uprisings, right? He's seeking to destabilize that region because China has grown to be, a great competitor when it comes to, competing with the United States. It's actually probably the top competitor when you think and consider, job growth, right, the economies, China is the closest thing to America once you really consider, the way it's structurally built, and United States or Babylon sees China as a great threat for those main reasons, right? So Babylon seeks to destabilize, or take out the competition, but in subtle ways, instead of them going and taking on China head on, they'd rather sit back and support little proxy wars or what have you, right? But this war is gonna happen, right? And with them arming Taiwan will be like the equivalent of Russia coming over here and giving arms to Kansas City because they got a problem with the U.S. government, right? And they arming up the state of Kansas to go to war against its own government, right? So this is what we're pretty much seeing, you know. But World War III is in the scriptures, right? It's one of the one of the major end times prophecy that's going to take place before the return of our Lord Yahweh Shai. You know, so this is just pretty much going to be a brief update of, you know, these things getting ready to come to pass. You know, we have these nations, you know, practicing with one another, you know, doing drills and sharing arms, right, which is pretty much leading up to the, to that final battle. Right, so I hope this lesson is edifying the spirit and power we have by Shem Yahushua. I'm going to go ahead and play some more of this video and bring out some precepts.
And then there's this headline I want you to see. It's a headline today from a respected military scribe. Look at that headline. See what that says? U.S. Special Ops are getting ready for war with Russia or China. And here's what the article goes on to say. For 20 years, the U.S. Special Forces have engaged in counterterrorism. Now it must address a potential conflict with other great powers, suggesting that China and Russia are the new targets. But
other great powers, right? So once this war kicks off between Russia and China, right, this is not going to be like, you know, these little wars that we've seen over there in Afghanistan, Iraq, right? Because China and Russia are major superpowers, right? And not only are they major superpower, they are actually nuclear as well, right? They possess nuclear weapons, right? So, you know, this is not going to be, you know, the typical war that we've been seeing America wage with all these lesser and smaller countries, man, right? This is going to be major, even to the point to where you can actually see them bringing in drafting, bringing the draft back, you know, things of that nature, right? But pursuing the Bible prophecy, man, you know, Russia and China, mainly Russia, you know, with its allies, are going to make quick work of this place, man. You know, and they're going to take it out with 200 million missiles, man. 200,000 million missiles. You know, so it's terrible judgments getting ready to come to this place, man. But, you know, the ones who's the Most High stirring their spirits up the most are preparing. All right, so World War III is coming. And the nations that are going to be leading the charge the most, Russia and China, are pretty much, you know, declaring war and getting ready.
are China and Russia really deserving of that classification? Are they that dangerous? I want to share something else with you now. This is something.
And the reason why, you know, the United States views Russia and China as being that dangerous is because over the years, the United States has had the upper hand when it comes to arms, technology, right? That's what gave them the edge over all the other nations, right? Because one of Esau's blessings is the sword, you know? And for the longest time, let's go ahead and get there real quick. Genesis 27:39. And for the longest time, Esau has had the upper hand because he's had the biggest sword. But what's happening now is all the other nations are catching up with the help of Russia, you know, in their technology, right? And not only is Russia coming with some of the latest technology, but he's also, you know, willing and dealing and sharing with the other nations, you know, that lack this capacity. You know, so this is going to pretty much put them on, you know, equal footing or give them a fighting chance. And then once you consider these other nations coming together, man, you know, it's only a recipe for disaster for Babylon the Great. But this is what pretty much allowed Esau to have his way with these other nations. It pretty much goes back to his blessing. Got the book of Genesis chapter 27 verse 38. And Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. Verse 39. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling should be the fatness of the earth and of the dew of heaven from above. Verse 40, and here's the point. And by thy sword should I live, and shall serve thy brother Jacob. right? So Esau was blessed to live by the sword, meaning, because the sword is a weapon of death. It's a killing instrument, right? And the modern day sword would be the gun. These missiles, tanks, weapons of mass destruction. And this is how Esau has ruled, his entire rulership, right? Destroying, weakening nations, to the point to where the whole earth is out of course, man. And these nations are angry. And in fact, let's go ahead and get a little more. Let's go to Isaiah 14. Got the book of Isaiah. Actually, I'm gonna start at I'm gonna start at 12 and I'm gonna jump down. It says, "How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend unto heaven. I will exalt my thrones above the stars of the Most High. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregations, in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High." All right, let's go ahead and skip down so I can get to the point. Verse 16. "They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, Is this the man that made the earth tremble, that did shake kingdoms?" Right? And one of the ways he, made the earth tremble and shake kingdoms is through his military might. And it was at a point where, other nations, had no defense against old Esau. Right? So they pretty much had to go along with his demands or pay the ultimate price. Whether it be, sanctions placed upon their countries, or the threat of military actions taken against them, where they know they could not compete. Verse 17, "That made the world as a wilderness, and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of his prisoners." Right? So this is this is how Esau has been ruling, to the point where these nations are fed up. And the only chance of survival in their minds is, to try and come up with, to fight fire with fire. But Esau is blessed with this sword. But the scripture also says, let me go ahead and grab that real quick, because we've seen what Esau's blessing was. But his blessing is also pretty much going to be his curse. Let's go to the book of Revelations. I think it's 13 and 10. Slakia. 13, start at verse 9. "If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints." Now we read Esau's blessing, that by his sword he shall live. Well, this precept from Revelations 13 verse 10 say that he that killeth with the sword must be killed by the sword. So that blessing, right, that same that same blessing that allowed Esau to rule and take hold of the fatness of this earth, is also going to be his undoing, right? And that the sword, the same sword that he lived by, is ultimately it's going to be the sword that wipes him out, along with the chariots to the Most High. All right. So I'll play a little bit more of this video.
Written recently by Sir Alex Younger. You're thinking, who is Sir Alex Younger, right? Well, this guy is the former head of the British MI6. Upon stepping down, he made the following assertion to a reporter in a final interview. He said, "It's wrong to blame Russia for the things that divide us." And by us, he means obviously the UK, right? He goes on to say, "We did that," referring again to the UK. Then on the question of
and how they did that is through the spirit and power of the Most High. because the Most High said he would set the Egyptian against the Egyptian, right? So Esau never takes the blame for anything. And, you know, one of his greatest strengths was the power of deception. You know, blame others for others' problems, right? Like he does over here in the United States, right? He blames the immigrants for everything, right? Right, to take the spotlight off of himself. But now we're in the times where the Most High has made Esau bare to where all eyes are on him. You know, like we just read in Isaiah, the book of Isaiah chapter 14, they that should narrowly look upon thee shall see thee and consider thee. You know, roughly paraphrasing. You know, is this the man? Right? And this is the man. Right? So, you know, the Most High is exposing Esau, and there's little places left for him to run.
China, he says the following: we have to coexist with China. And then he went on to reject the notion that China must be the enemy of the West, suggesting that the UK can stick up for what it believes in while ensuring a balanced relationship through engagement and with dialogue. So again, those are the words of the outgoing director of MI6.
So you got the outgoing director saying, look, we need to find some kind of way to coexist, you know, with these other nations. Right? They can't just be to blame for all our problems. All right? Now, that's his take on it, right? And this is going to be another example of the Most High setting the Egyptian against the Egyptian. Now, this is the one that's getting ready to step down. Now, you finna get now we finna hear the statement from the one that's about to get ready to replace him, right? Showing you the mass confusion that's going on in the world and why this man needs to be taken out of power, right? Because another way that he rules is through confusion, you know, because there is no truth in him. Right, so let's hear this, the statement of the new MIG that's about to take the place of this one that's about to step down.
Now, I want to share with you something else. These are the words of another British spy chief. This is the new guy you see right there, Kevin McCollum. He's a brand new head of MI5. His take that Russia and China are a huge threat, and that the threats are growing in severity and in complexity. His apparent take is that they are a danger. So here's the question that we would be remiss if we didn't ask.
See? And that's the example of the Most High setting the Egyptian against the Egyptian. Because on one hand, you got one, now these guys holding the same office. Only difference is one's stepping down and one's coming in, right? Giving two conflicting statements. One said, you know, Russia and China are not to blame for, you know, Europe's problems. And then the one that's stepping in and coming in saying they are. Right? So, you know, this is just another example of the Most High breaking down, you know, the city of confusion. You know, and also, you know, Esau losing his power of persuasion and deception.
Ask, right? Why are two different British intelligence chiefs, one departing and possibly with nothing to lose, the other one new to the job with possibly more to lose, why are they sharing what are essentially competing narratives, right? And more importantly, which one's right? This is the News with Rick Sanchez, where we will drill down on this question because we believe it's time to do news again.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and end that right there. All right. Well, I pretty much just wanted to show you that, you know, World War III is coming, man. All right. Let's go ahead and start at Book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 1. For behold, in those days, in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations and bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. Right, and you are the Israelites, the true people of the Most High, are scattered abroad in all nations, right? pursuant to the curses of Deuteronomy chapter 28, and also, that great falling away that Yahushua spoke about that had to take place. We are scattered into the four corners of the earth. You so-called blacks, Hispanic, Native Americans, Seminole Indians. The confusion of face, right? That look like unto the other nations, due to the Israelite man scattering their seed into the foreign women, right? You make up the 12 tribes of Israel. And one of these last great prophecies before Yahushua comes to gather, his people, it's going to be a great war, World War III. So what we're seeing with all these other nations coming together, sharing arms and doing drills, is the preparation for that war. And the ultimate conclusion is Babylon the Great being burnt with fire, man. So this is pretty much going to be the build-up. That's why nations like China are telling its people, to get ready. Verse 2, I will also gather all nations and bring them down into the valley of Yehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people and my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. And they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for a harlot, and sold a girl for wine, that they might drink, right? And a part of the reason why these wars are going to take place because of what you've done to the the children of Israel. All these nations have had a hand in our captivity. So therefore, the Most High is going to bring all these nations against each other to fight, and slaughter them. Verse 4, yea, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coasts of Palestine? Will ye render me a recompense? And if you recompense me, swiftly and speedily will I return your recompense upon your own head. Because you have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly, pleasant things. The children also of Judah and of the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians, that ye may remove them far from their borders. Right. Verse 7, behold, I will raise them out of their places, whither ye have sold them, and will return your recompense upon your own head. And this is what we're getting ready to see. Right. Verse 8, and I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hands of the children of Judah, and they shall sell them to the Sabians, to a people far off, for the Lord hath spoken it. Right, same way we were sold unto our enemies. Right, these same curses are gonna fall, upon the heathen. So let's go ahead and go from there. Let's go to the book of Zephaniah 3, verse 8. The Most High says he's going to gather these nations. So this is another precept to go ahead and back that up. Got the book of Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 8. Therefore wait ye upon me, saith the Lord Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them my indignation, right? My righteous anger. When you go into that word indignation. Even all my fierce anger, for all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. Right? And that's once these these nuclear missiles get shot off. Right? So the Most High is gathering these nations, to bring upon them, his righteous anger, to recompense them for what he done, for what these nations have done, with mainly Esau, Edom, leading the charge against, his people, mainly the elect. So this is why these wars are getting ready to come to a head, and World War III is right around the corner. All right. So when you hear, more rumors and, see these, these nations prepping and, beating war drums, It's all because Bible prophecy must and will be fulfilled. All right. So I hope this lesson was edifying. I want to say, call halal Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai Ba'Hashem Rakakadash. Double honor to the apostle and elders, great millstone. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect that's watching and learning. To you I say shalom. Call halal Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai Ba'Hashem Rakakadash. Wa Abba Babal Shalom.